Sodium borohydride is a catalyst which is used for selective reduction of carbonyl group. So if you know the function of the catalyst, what is its role there, then it is very easy to come to the correct answer. Esterification means what should be the reactant? One carboxylic acid group should be present on benzene ring, one OH group should be present. So what is the 21st question? Match the following acids with their pKa value. Now, what is the relation between the acidic strength and pK value? They are inversely proportional. That means acidic strength is inversely proportional to pKa value. Stronger the acid, lower pKa value. So we have to match here the acids and their pKa value. Okay, so you have to know which is the strong acid or a weak acid, so that the value you can match. You, of course, you don't know all of these values by heart, correct? So we'll see how to solve this. Such match the followings, it's better to see the options in the end, because the options might confuse you all, or sometimes the options will also help you all. Okay, if you don't know properly, only one or two options here you know it, okay, to match, the other two you don't know, then it might help you all, but sometimes it can also confuse you all. So you have to be very careful with such questions. Okay, so we'll see the options: ethanol, phenol, para-nitrophenol and picric acid. We know that ethanol is a very weak acid compared to that of phenol. In phenol, that is when phenol has got a electron withdrawing group like nitro group, more number of electron withdrawing group, more will be the acidic strength, or stronger will be the acid. So picric acid has got 3 nitro groups, that is in 2, 4 and 6 position. So it is 2, 4, 6 trinitrophenol. The other name is picric acid. That will be the strongest acid. So the value will be least for picric acid. So for picric acid, which is the least value here? 0.78. So this will be the answer, picric acid. After that, which one has stronger acid among these three? Para-nitrophenol, because along with OH group on the benzene ring, it has also got one NO2 group, that too on the para position. So which is the next least number or pK value which we have got? It is 7.1. So for para-nitrophenol, it is 7.1. Now we have ethanol and phenol which is remaining. We have ethanol, we know it is the weakest acid which is there. So the answer will be 16, and for phenol it will be 10. Now you see the option. For A, it is 3. A is 3. In 3 options it is there. So we have to see for the next one. For B, it is 4. This should be the correct answer. So A is 3, B is 4. C is 1, we'll just check. C is 1 and D is 2. D is 2. So correct answer is option A. So I hope you have understood. Next question. Which of the following can be used to test the acidic nature of ethanol? Ethanol is a very weak acid. So how do you test the acidic nature? Okay, we'll see the options here. Blue litmus solution. We have sodium bicarbonate, then we have sodium carbonate and sodium metal. Now here, testing the acidic nature of ethanol, as it is a very weak acid, sodium bicarbonate or sodium carbonate will not react. Okay, they do not react with ethanol. Okay, whereas blue litmus solution and sodium metal, if you take, Blue litmus solution will not give any color change because it is a very weak acid. The amount of H plus ion which is liberated is not sufficient for the color change to occur. So again, blue litmus solution also you cannot test whether it is acidic. So which is the correct answer? It is sodium metal. Sodium metal can be used to test the acidic nature of ethanol. What is the reaction? You have already studied. ROH with Na will form RONA, liberating hydrogen gas. That is ROH. Alcohol with sodium metal, it will form sodium alkoxide and hydrogen gas will be liberated. Correct? I have not balanced the equation, it's not necessary. So I can test the acidic nature with sodium metal. Okay. Next question, 23rd question. We have this reaction in which you have CH2OH. You have an alcohol group as well as an aldehyde group, as well as there is a double bond between the two carbon atoms. That is the second and the third carbon atom. Okay. In this particular reactant, what is A, what is B and what is C? That is, what is one more catalyst which will give the following products. Okay. Now we have to say what are the catalysts. We will see about the options whether they are common in all of them. Okay. In the first option we have hydrogen with palladium, PCC and sodium borohydride. Again in option B we have sodium borohydride, again PCC and palladium with hydrogen. Okay. Catalyst is same but A, B, C order is different. Okay. Third option we can see we have sodium borohydride, alkaline KMNO4 and hydrogen with palladium. Here again the same catalyst as in C but the order is changed. What we need to know is what is the function of sodium borohydride, what is the function of PCC and what is the function of hydrogen with palladium as catalyst. Sodium borohydride is a catalyst which is used for selective reduction of carbonyl group. That is CO group, carbonyl group can be reduced by using sodium borohydride. So it is selective reduction. Okay. PCC oxidizes OH group to CHO group. It is controlled oxidation we can use using PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate. Hydrogen with palladium reduces any double bond or even functional group. So this is the function of all these three catalysts. We have one more here, alkaline KMNO4, which is a strong oxidizing agent. Okay. So we will see the first one. In first A, reaction A, you see CH2OH, CH2OH, it is untouched, the double bond is untouched, only the CHO group has undergone reduction to form CH2OH. Functional group, from aldehyde to alcohol it has got converted. Then what is the reaction? It is reduction. Which will selectively react? It is sodium borohydride. So A will be NaBH4. Okay. We'll see what is B. You see the reaction here, CHO as it is, double bond as it is. Again this has got converted, alcohol has got converted to aldehyde. Alcohol to aldehyde, who can convert? It is PCC. PCC. Correct? Next. Reaction C, we'll see. Here CH2OH is remaining as it is, but you observe the double bond is removed here. Okay. And CHO group is also got converted to CH2OH. So here reduction is happening around the double bond as well as the functional group. Which reagent can do that? It is nothing but hydrogen with palladium. We do not require a strong oxidizing agent because like alkaline KMnO4, which will convert an alcohol to carboxylic acid or aldehyde to carboxylic acid group. We don't have such product. So obviously option C and D are ruled out, and the order is NaBH4, PCC and hydrogen with palladium, that is option B is the correct answer. So if you know the function of the catalyst, what is its role there, then it is very easy to come to the correct answer. Okay, so we'll see the next question. Propanoic acid undergoes HVZ reaction to give chloropropanoic acid. The product obtained is stronger acid than propanoic acid, weaker acid than propanoic acid, a stronger as propanoic acid, stronger than dichloropropanoic acid. So we'll see first of all what is the product which is formed, and then we'll see whether propanoic acid is stronger or the product formed is stronger. Okay, so propanoic acid is CH3, CH2, COOH. This is propanoic acid. HVZ reaction will happen. In HVZ reaction, what is happening? In the presence of red phosphorus, here it is chlorination, so chlorine is getting added up. Where it gets added, this will, carboxylic group will remain as it is, it will add it to the next carbon atom. So it is CH3, CH, Cl, COOH. So we have got 2-chloropropanoic acid and propanoic acid. What is this? 2-chloropropanoic acid. Correct? So here what we have to see is which is the stronger acid, whether it is propanoic acid or 2-chloropropanoic acid. Chlorine is an electron withdrawing group. Chlorine is electron withdrawing group. So when electron withdrawing group like chlorine is present on a carboxylic acid, what happens is the electron will get dispersed much better when it forms a carboxylate ion. So of course, what will happen? The acidic strength 2-chloropropanoic acid is more than that of propanoic acid, or I can tell 2-chloropropanoic acid is stronger than propanoic acid. Now I have to see which is the option which is right. Stronger acid than propanoic acid. The product obtained is stronger acid than propanoic acid, weaker acid, it is wrong. A stronger as propanoic acid is wrong. Stronger than dichloropropanoic, we are not getting this product itself. So the correct answer is option A, in which you tell that the stronger than propanoic acid. So I hope you understood. In this question, you see, it's a little higher level question. P with hydrogen and palladium with barium sulfate will give Q. Q, first reaction with concentrated NaOH, it will give one product. That one with dilute HCl will give one more product. Okay. Now what is the question? R and S forms benzyl benzoate. So what is formed? Benzyl benzoate when treated with each other. Hence P is. So you have to go in the reverse order. The final product is benzyl benzoate, which is formed when R and S reacted with one another. Okay. Now what is this R and S? We are supposed to find out, and then we have to find out what is Q, and from that you have to find out what is P and tell the correct answer. Okay. We'll see the option whether we get any hint from the options. First we have C6H5CHO. Second one we have C6H5COCl. Third option what we have is C6H5CH2OH, and the last one is benzoic acid, that is C6H5COOH. The hint what I am getting here is it contains a benzene ring. Correct? P group contains a benzene ring is what hint I am getting. Also one more hint what I have got is benzyl benzoate is formed. It is an ester. Correct? So how are esters formed? Usually what you have learned? It is because of esterification. Esterification means what should be the reactant? One carboxylic acid group should be present on benzene ring, one OH group should be present. Correct? So it should be, R and S should be, one alcohol group should be present and one carboxylic acid should be present. That is R and S. Okay, because we have got benzyl benzoate, two benzene rings are there. So both should be, R and S both should have benzene ring also. Okay, so we'll try to write this in the reverse order. Okay, are you getting any other hints here? See, with dilute NaOH, okay, if there is a compound with benzene ring, okay, for example, it is benzaldehyde, okay, with dilute NaOH, what is the reaction which is happening? It is Cannizzaro reaction. Also, does this look familiar for you all? Hydrogen with palladium and barium sulfate. It is the catalyst for one of the reactions which you have learned, which has benzene ring in them in aldehydes ketones chapter. It is Rosamund's reduction reaction. Okay, so these are some of the hints which you get from looking into the question as well as the option. Okay, we'll try to write the answer and in the reverse order and try to come to P. So what is benzyl benzoate? It is benzene ring with COO group with one more benzene ring, that is benzyl benzoate. I'll write it from here. Correct. So what should be the reactants? It should be one carboxylic group plus one benzoyl alcohol, that is CH2OH. I'll tell you why exactly this is the product which is there. One is R and one is S. Now here this is esterification. Now you come back, dilute HCl. For this one, after treating with dilute HCl, if you are getting this, then what should be the product previously? Okay, you are treating with dilute HCl and then you are getting this product. Okay, and the other reaction is what? With sodium hydroxide. So here with sodium hydroxide, here you would have got sodium benzoate as well as benzoyl alcohol, CH2OH. Okay, now previously what do you have here? NaOH. With concentrated NaOH, okay, it is Cannizzaro reaction. If Cannizzaro reaction should be this, product should be this, then your should be benzaldehyde. Correct. Now if you are getting benzaldehyde, this is Q, okay, which was reacted with hydrogen, palladium with barium sulfate, that is Rosamund reduction. It should be benzoyl chloride which you are starting with. So the answer of 25th question is B, C6H5COCl. So once again I shall explain this. Here you see, you start with benzoyl chloride with hydrogen, palladium and barium sulfate. It is Rosamund reduction which is happening. So here benzoyl chloride, this side group is converted to CHO group, okay, reduction reaction. Then when benzaldehyde undergoes Cannizzaro reaction, okay, Cannizzaro reaction, that is in the presence of concentrated NaOH, you are going to get the product as sodium benzoate and benzoyl alcohol, sodium benzoate and benzyl alcohol. Sodium benzoate and benzyl alcohol, when it is treated with HCl, benzyl alcohol nothing will happen, only the sodium will get substituted to form benzoic acid. Benzoic acid with benzyl alcohol, when they react with one another, that is carboxylic acid with OH group, when it is present, you will get an ester. So I hope you have understood about question number 25. It's a little higher level question where you need to be thorough with all the reactions, only then you can go in the reverse order and come to the correct answer. Okay, so answer is option B. Next question, the element in which electrons are progressively filled in 4f orbital are called. In 4f orbital, if the electrons are filling, we call them as lanthanoids. In 5f they are filling, we call them as actinoids. So we have options here: actinoids, lanthanoids, transition elements, halogens. So it is lanthanoids. Correct? Next one, incorrect statement with reference to cerium Ce with atomic number 58. We see the options what we have got. Ce plus 4 is a reducing agent. Atomic size of cerium is more than lutetium. Okay, Lu it is. Option C, cerium has plus 3 oxidation state, more stable than plus 4 oxidation state. Cerium shows common oxidation state of plus 3 and plus 4. Now they are asking us the incorrect statement. If you see option C and option D are correct, okay, it can show plus 3 and plus 4 oxidation state, and most common oxidation state is plus 3 and plus 4. Plus 3 oxidation state is more stable than plus 4. Okay, so C and D are correct. When it comes to A and B, so option B is also right, because as we move along the period, atomic size is reducing. Cerium you have in the starting of lanthanoid series, and lutetium you have it in the end. So of course the last one is smaller compared to the cerium. Correct? So option B also is correct. Option A is the one which is incorrect. Of course, cerium, if I write here Ce plus 4, will accept an electron and come to Ce plus 3 state. Here cerium plus 4 is accepting an electron. That means which type of reaction is happening? Accepting an electron is reduction reaction. Correct? It is reduction reaction. Thus, it is a very good oxidizing agent. But what they have given? They have given it as a reducing agent. So obviously that is wrong. Okay? And also C in plus 4 state is stable because it does not have any electron in 4f orbital. Okay? So plus 4 state also is stable, plus 3 state is also stable, and it can show both plus 3 and plus 4 oxidation states. Okay? So that's about the question number 27. I hope you have understood. Next one, a mixture of sodium chloride and potassium dichromate is heated with concentrated H2SO4. Deep red vapors are formed. Which of the following statement is false? Now, where do you think you have done this particular reaction? Red color fumes, you have added potassium dichromate with concentrated H2SO4. You have done it in the lab for conformation of which acid radical? It is for chloride. Correct? And the test name is chromyl chloride test. Correct? So we'll see the options now. The vapors give a yellow solution with NaOH. The vapors contain CrO2, Cl2 and Cl2. The vapors contain CrO2, Cl2 only. Okay, that is, this is chromyl chloride. So the vapors contain only chromyl chloride, or it contains even chlorine, is what they have given in option B. D is the vapors when passed into lead acetate in acetic acid gives yellow precipitate. Now you will have done in the lab. It is all about the vapors which you need to know. Does vapor give yellow solution with NaOH, or does vapor in lead acetate and acetic acid gives yellow precipitate? Okay. Or the vapors contain chromyl chloride with chlorine gas, or it contains only chromyl chloride. So if you know the reaction, it is very easy to answer. It contains only chromyl chloride. None of the others are right. Okay. I'll write the reaction for you all here. It is potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7 with sulfuric acid H2SO4. It will form KHSO4 plus NaHSO4 plus CrO2Cl2 plus H2O. I have not balanced the equation, but then you will get to know what are you going to get. It's only chromyl chloride in the red vapors. There is no chlorine gas which has been produced. Okay, of course they will not give these two precipitates also. That's the correct answer is option C. Next one, which of the following statement is wrong? So we have to search which is the wrong one here. I'll read the statements. In highest oxidation state, the transition metal show acidic character. Metal in highest oxidation states are more stable oxides than in fluorides. Then we have Mn plus 3 and CO plus 3 are oxidizing agent in aqueous solution. All elements of 3D series exhibit variable oxidation state. So they are talking about transition series, that too specially here they have mentioned, if you see option C and option D, it is about 3D transition series what they have told. Okay, now you have to tell which is wrong here. We'll go with the easiest one which you know. Okay, now highest oxidation state in transition metal show acidic character. That's absolutely right, they show acidic character. Okay, now the highest oxidation state are more stable in oxides than fluorides. You find very common oxides but fluorides are very less. So highest oxidation state have stable oxides which are formed. Okay, that is also right. C, I don't know whether it is absolutely right yet. It is Mn plus 3 or CO plus 3 are oxidizing agent only in aqueous solution. I am not sure about it. Okay, so if you feel that you are not sure about it, we'll see the next option and then we can come to the correct answer. All the elements of 3D series exhibit variable oxidation state. Does all of them in 3D series show variable oxidation state? 3D series from scandium to zinc. We have an exception here. Which is it? Zinc. Zinc will show only one oxidation state, that is plus 2. After that it will have completely filled d orbital and it will not show any other oxidation state. Variable oxidation state means at least 2 or more oxidation state a particular element should show. So of course we have an exception which we already know, that zinc, it is present in 3D transition series and it is not having variable oxidation state. So obviously option D should be the wrong one and the correct answer for our question. Okay, so sometimes if you do not know all the options whether it is right or wrong, at least you will be sure with one which is correct or which is the wrong one and you have to go with it. Okay, and option C is actually the right one, that is Mn plus 3 and CO plus 3 are very good oxidizing agents in aqueous solution, and manganese can show variable oxidation state from plus 2 to plus 7. Okay, so that's about question number 29. Next we have, which among the following is the strongest ligand? So here if you know the spectrochemical series, you can answer the question. In spectrochemical series we have increasing order of field strength, correct? So which is having the highest one or which is having the highest field strength? That is carbon monoxide, which we call it as carbonyl ligand. So we'll see if that option is there. We have Cn minus, CO, NH3 and En. We have got CO which is having the highest field strength. Okay, so the correct answer is CO and you should know what? Spectrochemical series. Okay, next one. Which of the following possesses net dipole moment? We'll see the option here. We have got SO2, then we have beryllium chloride, then we have BF3 and then we have carbon dioxide. So if you remember what you have studied for your boards which is there in the NCERT textbook, that's all. You can tell these three options have got zero dipole moment because of their structure. First we'll calculate the hybridization of these and you will know what is the structure and then you can tell whether it has got dipole moment or not if you do not remember what you have studied in first year. Okay, so beryllium chloride, how to calculate the hybridization? Half into valence electrons are 2, monovalent atoms are 2, no charge minus 0 plus 0 is equal to 4 by 2 is 2, which hybridization? Sp. So it's linear. BF3, half into boron has got 3 valence electrons plus 3 monovalent atoms. So 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is again 3, which is sp2 hybridization, correct? Next, carbon dioxide again half. We have 4 valence electrons, nothing else is there. So 4 by 2 is 2, which is sp hybridization is again linear. Now if you ask me sp3, how is it? It is like this. It's got 120 degrees. So fluorine and fluorine and fluorine. It's a vector quantity. Sum of the two is equal and opposite to the third one. So the net dipole moment is 0. Okay. Only sulfur dioxide is the correct answer here. Without even actually calculating all of this, I can tell linear, equal and opposite 0. Here also linear, so equal and opposite it is 0. So here SO2 is the correct answer, which has got dipole moment because the structure is not linear. Okay. So the next one, 32. The number of pi bonds and sigma bonds present in naphthalene are. We need to know the structure of naphthalene first. So I'll write the structure of naphthalene. From the structure, what do you get to know is there are 5 pi bonds, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But see the options here, option B, C as well as D, pi bonds are 5. So it's very important to calculate the sigma bonds here and see what are the options. It's 11, 19 and 20. Okay. We'll see how many sigma bonds are present. Don't forget, for every carbon atom there is an hydrogen which is attached here. So we have hydrogen, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and 8th. So 8 hydrogen atoms are there. So carbon and hydrogen bond only 8 are there. Sigma bonds 5 are there. Now carbon and carbon bonds we shall see how many are there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Okay. So carbon and carbon I have 11 bonds. So it is total 19. 19 and 5 are the numbers. So 5 and 19 sigma bonds. 5 pi bonds, 19 sigma bonds. So that's about this question. Next we have the reaction in which delta H is greater than delta U. Now see all the equations, they are very clearly mentioned whether it's a gas or a solid. Now relationship between delta H and delta U for reactions is delta H is equal to delta U plus delta Ng RT. So if I know delta N value, I can tell whether delta H is equal to delta U or whether it's greater or lesser. I want what? Delta H when it is greater than delta U. Okay. So if I get delta Ng equal to 0, then delta H is equal to delta U. If we get delta Ng is a positive value, then delta H is greater than delta U. When delta Ng is negative value, then delta H is less than delta U. What is delta Ng? It is the number of moles of gaseous products minus the number of moles of gaseous reactants. So we'll see option A. What is delta N value here? How many gaseous products? 2. Here 2. So this is 0. Okay. What is delta N over here? We have 2 products, reactants 4. So it is minus 2. Okay. Number of gaseous products is 1 minus 0 because all are solids here. So it is 1. And then we have delta Ng is equal to gaseous product is 1 minus reactants how many? 2 plus 1, 3. So it is minus 2. I want a positive value. So my positive value is for option C. So option C is the correct answer. Okay. So that's how you solve such problem. Next one. Number of moles of electrons required to reduce 0.2 moles of Cr2O7 minus to Cr plus 3. So here if you write the reaction, Cr2O7 minus will accept 14H plus 6 electrons to give 2Cr plus 3 plus 7H2O. Okay. Now, what do you understand from this? They are asking you number of moles of electron required to reduce 0.2 moles of dichromate ion. Okay. So, in this equation, to reduce 1 mole of dichromate ion, 1 mole to reduce how many electrons? 6 electrons was required, or 6 moles of electrons I can write. 1 mole require 6 moles of electron. Okay. Correct? Now, I have 0.2 moles. How much is required? That's all. So, 0.2 into 6. How much is it? It is 1.2 moles. So, the answer is 1.2, which is option A. Okay. So, I hope you have understood this problem. Next question, what do we have? In the reaction, BOH thrice plus 2H2O giving BOH4 minus and H3O plus. They are asking BOH3 functions as protonic acid, Bronsted acid, Lewis base or Lewis acid. From the equation you get to know that OH minus is accepted here by BOH thrice to give BOH4 minus. Okay. So, if something is accepted, OH minus is accepted, it is an acid itself because it is accepting OH minus. Unlike all acids, it's not giving H plus ion. Okay. But which acid is it? Whether it's protonic, Bronsted or Lewis acid. Protonic acid means it should be related with H plus ion, it should give off H plus ion, correct? Bronsted acid is again based on the same thing. Acid and base you are explaining based on whether it can accept H plus ion or give away H plus ion. But here it is not giving any H plus ion. Rather it is accepting OH minus ion. So it should be a Lewis acid. It is a Lewis acid. Okay. Next one. Addition of excess of AgNO3 to an aqueous solution of 1 mole of PdCl2.4NH3 gives 2 moles of AgCl. The conductivity of this solution corresponds to 1:1 electrolyte, 1:2 electrolyte, 1:3 electrolyte or 1:4 electrolyte. So, we will read the question again. Addition of excess of AgNO3. Okay, AgNO3 is added in excess to 1 mole of PdCl2.4NH3. Okay. So, as it is like this, it is understood that it should be a coordination compound. NH3 4 times. Okay. We will see whether chlorine is a counter ion or whether it is acting as a ligand here. It gives 2 moles of AgCl. If 2 moles of AgCl, see I have only 1 mole of this particular compound, okay, but what is the precipitate I am getting? I am getting the precipitate of AgCl, that is of 2 moles. That means both these chlorine atoms are outside, which is acting as a counter ion and not a ligand. That is what we understand. Okay. The conductivity of this solution corresponds to, so 1 mole of the compound gives 2 mole precipitate AgCl. Okay, 1 mole of PD NH3,4Cl2. So, which type of electrolyte it is? It is of course 1:2 electrolyte. It is 1:2 electrolyte because we have 1 mole giving 2 moles there. Okay. So, that is about conductivity of this solution. Next one. In 37th question, the formula of penta aqua nitrato chromium 3 nitrate is, They have given the name. You're supposed to choose the correct formula. Okay, molecular formula for this. So, pentaaqua. Okay, 5 H2O should be there. Obviously, option A and option C is ruled out because there are 6 water molecules which is acting as the ligand. So, option C is wrong as well as option A is wrong. Then we have option B and D. They have also given nitrato chromium 3. That means chromium oxidation state should be 3. So, we will just calculate that instead of getting confused on which to choose the correct answer. So, I will take x plus 0 plus minus 1, okay, nitrate NO3 minus, so minus 1 plus minus 2, because I have 2 nitrate groups, is equal to 0, x is equal to plus 3. So, this should be the correct answer, okay. We will see if this is also that way, x plus 0 plus minus 1 plus minus 1, because we have only one nitrate, so x will be equal to plus 2. So, the correct answer is option B. Okay. Question number 38. Which of the following halide undergoes hydrolysis on warming with water or aqueous NaOH? So, we have first option just chlorobenzene, second para-nitrochlorobenzene, then you have nitro group in ortho and in para position, and in the last one you have in ortho, para as well as in ortho position. We know from haloarenes chapter that nucleophilic substitution reaction for haloarene is difficult. But if there is an electron withdrawing group present on the haloarene, then nucleophilic substitution reaction can happen. Correct? So, as the number of electron withdrawing group increases, it is easier for the nucleophilic substitution reaction to happen. So, what is the reaction? Undergoes hydrolysis on warming with water. That means it should be very easy reaction. Okay, I should get if I take this one, because it has got 3 nitro groups, 3 electron withdrawing group. If I just warm it with water, warm water, I am going to get the substitution with OH group. So, which is the correct option? It is option D. Okay. So, I hope you understood this question. Next one, 39th. The compound having the longest CCl bond. We'll see the option. See, chlorine, to which carbon atom it is attached, we shall see. In the first one, chlorine is attached to sp2 hybridized carbon atom. Here also it is attached to sp2 hybridized carbon atom. Here it is attached to sp3 hybridized. Look carefully, it is not a benzene ring. It is a cyclohexene in which one substitution is there with chlorine atom. Okay. And here also it is attached with sp2 hybridized because double bond is there. Okay. So, what is the difference in the bond length? See, sp2 hybridized and sp3 hybridized carbon atom if you consider, okay, if you consider sp3 hybridized carbon atom, the electronegativity is not high compared to sp2 hybridized carbon atom. It is because here it has got 25% S character and here it has got 33.33% S character. Okay, so as the S character increases, electronegativity increases and the bond length will become shorter because they are holding the bond pair tightly. Okay, so which is the longest CCl bond? The one which chlorine is attached to sp3 hybridized carbon atom, so it is option C. Okay, rest all the options you can see chlorine is attached to sp2 hybridized carbon atom. Okay, so that's about 39th question. 40th question. The alkyl halide required to prepare by Wood's reaction are. So, I want to prepare this particular alkane. Which alkyl halides I have to use? So, I have got different options here. First we'll see how many carbon atoms are there in this particular haloalkane. First we'll see how many carbon atoms are present in this particular alkane. Okay, CH3, CH3, then I have CH here, CH2 and CH2, CH3, correct? So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and one side chain. So 6 carbon atoms should be present. In that, one is a side chain which is present on the second carbon atom. So we'll see here the first option. If you take 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, 6 carbon atoms are there, but then there is no side chain here. It is all in the straight chain. So you'll get a straight chain hexane you will get here. Okay. In this option you see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are there and one side chain also is present. So this can be the correct answer. We'll just check, cross check with the other options also. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 carbon atoms, so this cannot be the option. Here we have 1, 2, 3 and 2 side chains are there. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are there with 2 side chains. So I need only one side chain, correct? So 6 carbon atoms with one side chain, only option B can give. I'll write the reaction for you all here. It is CH3, CHCl, CH3, that is the compound which is there, plus CH3, CH2, CH2, Cl. Okay. Now these two will react in the presence of dry ether. We have Wood's reaction here. So we will get the answer as CH3, CH2, CH2. For this CH2, the other CH will get added up with CH3 bond and CH3 bond. So it is the same product which we have got. Option B is the correct answer. So I hope you have understood about this question.